Okay, so I'm gonna need your sort of like your help on this story, actually. Yesterday, I was starting to work on today's show, researching some stories, putting some notes together. And I started getting emails and tweets, probably about 10 or 12 in total, people linking me to the same video. And it's a video, a supposedly leaked video of Elizabeth Warren talking to union officials in a private meeting about healthcare. And the headline was, Warren bails on Medicare for all. Warren aborts Bernie's Medicare for all plan. Devastating. Warren caught in leaked video distancing from Bernie's Medicare for all plan. So I was ready to come in today and just crush Elizabeth Warren for abandoning Medicare for all with no specific alternative. And I was ready to go. And then I watched the video, and in the video, I don't see Elizabeth Warren do that. I see in the video Elizabeth Warren say that Medicare for all is the cheapest way to get the best care to the highest number of people. Wait a second, what? How is that possible? I thought it was devastating video of Elizabeth Warren abandoning Medicare for all. I was ready to just say, look at this terrible, disgusting video of Elizabeth Warren. Then I saw the video, and I don't understand where the headlines are coming from. So I need your help today in figuring this out. We're going to look at the video. The first question, anytime you hear about a leaked video, is, was the video really leaked? A lot of things that are supposedly leaked under the Trump administration, we later find out, are leaked by Trump officials because they think that it's going to look good for them or whatever. Was this video really leaked? I don't know. If you believe it was leaked, then you're probably predisposed to assume that Elizabeth Warren says or does something bad in it. I don't know if the video was leaked. From the recording, it seems like someone is just sitting right in front of Elizabeth Warren recording the thing. I don't know the answer to that, but let's listen to what Elizabeth Warren says. And again, English is my second language. Maybe there are some grammatical or linguistic nuances here that I'm not understanding where she says that she's bailing on Medicare for all. I'm just not seeing it, and I want to make sure that I understand this. So let's look at clip number 1.
I'm going to be, if I can, a little more open textured about this one. The way I see it is we need to know what the goal is. And the goal has got to be that we've got to be in a place where we get coverage for everybody at the lowest possible cost. And the numbers are just clear on it. That's Medicare for all. The Republicans put together a study to show how expensive Medicare for all was going to be. You know, they really wanted to show us, and it turned out it was cheaper than any alternative that anybody could come up with, because you cut out all the crazy billing, you cut out all of the fighting with the insurance companies, and you cut out the $23 billion in profits that the insurance companies sucked out of the system just last year alone. And that doesn't even count what they spent on CEO salaries. Remember, their basic business model, take in as much as you can in premiums and pay out as little as you can in healthcare coverage. Saying no is how they make money. So this is not sustainable over a long period. So we got to figure out, that's where we're headed. Now, how do we get there? And for me, I think of it the way I think of trade. And that is, it matters who's at the table. I want to make sure that the folks who are at the table are folks who don't have health care coverage. I want to make sure they're there, but also folks who do have health care coverage.
Okay, so far, I hear Elizabeth Warren talking up Medicare for all. I hear her talking about lower cost and higher access, and it's good. And she wants to be sure that unions who have already negotiated health care for their union members in many cases are part of the conversation about what is going to be done with health care. So if we want to steelman the worst possible interpretation of this, she may be alluding to unions may be happy with what they have. Of course, most people are not in unions, but I'm not seeing anything there that matches the headlines that I was seeing. So let's continue. And again, I was ready for Elizabeth Warren's big abandonment of Medicare for all. I was ready to come in here and go point by point, destroying her. We were smelling blood at the David Pakman show, but I'm not seeing it in the video. Let's look at clip number 2.
For those for whom it is already part of their compensation package, then we got to think about adjustments in the law to make sure, not just that out of the goodness of their hearts, that some employers will make up the difference, but that that's part of the legal structure. For people who don't have any coverage, we got to make sure that they're represented about how fast we can get them into the system. So when I hear people say, well, we'll do 55, 50, 45, well, that's great if you have health insurance. We got to find a way to get people into Medicare for all as quickly as we can.
So this is pretty uncontroversial. How do we get coverage quickly to people? She's pointing out that if you phase in Medicare for all by going from 65 as the age at which you can get into it, down to 60, down to 55, down to 50, that in practical terms, that's too slow for people who don't have health care right now. We need to do something to get them health care more quickly. Now, again, you could interpret that as her saying, we need to do a full phase-in of Medicare for all even faster than has been proposed by some people. Or on the other side, you could interpret that as we need something else in addition to Medicare for all, because some people aren't going to be able to get Medicare for all right away if it's phased in over time. But this is not exactly devastating. I'm just not seeing it. So now let's go to the next clip, and this is a part that she is absolutely getting crushed for.
So it's not that I have a plan that says we're going to do this part, and then we're going to do this part, and then we're going to do this part. No, instead, my plan is we're going to get to a table like this. We're going to make sure everybody gets represented. We're going to understand the urgency of the moment to get this solved with people who aren't covered and get ourselves on a path where everybody can get there and everybody can get covered at the lowest possible cost. That's what Medicare for All is all about. I hope that's a helpful answer.
Yes.
Good.
So people are crushing Elizabeth Warren on this part because she says, I don't have a plan of doing this part and then this part and then this part. There's two interpretations here. One interpretation is she has no plan, right? That would be like the harshest interpretation. The other interpretation, and again, I think there's some linguistic ambiguity here, is she's saying, I don't have a plan for a sequential phase in. I need to get everybody who doesn't have healthcare right away. She is saying, as I hear it, Medicare for all is what we are doing, but we need everyone at the table, and slowly phasing it in with different lowering age requirements is too slow if you have an acute need for healthcare right now. I'm going to be totally honest. I don't really see what the controversy is. This to me is actually more strongly for Medicare for all than what I've seen her say in the past, which has been problematic. So even if you interpret this in the least charitable way, based on my grasp of the English language, she seems to be saying she's open to things other than Medicare for all continuing to exist in parallel with Medicare for all. For example, for people who have health care negotiated through their unions, which is a very small percentage of the country. I think 8% of the country is in a union, and my guess is that not that full 8% has guaranteed health care as a result of being in that union. Who cares? I mean, I think that from the beginning, I've said running on making private insurance illegal is a mistake. Let the market dictate what happens to private insurance if you put in a really good Medicare for all plan. If private insurance is terrible compared to Medicare for all, which it likely would be, then people will get out of those risk pools, and that will make private insurance even more expensive. And that will make more people get out of it, and the market will actually resolve that issue pretty tidily. So again, I want your help. I just don't seem to be understanding where in this Elizabeth Warren is abandoning Medicare for all. I'm hearing her in much stronger terms than I've heard over the last 3 to 6 months from her, 3 months, I guess I would say, be in favor of Medicare for all. Maybe my understanding of the English language is just not up to par, and maybe that's where I'm missing this. I want to hear from you. Where is the big abandonment?